Welcome to Scotty's Media live broadcast. We're just doing tests. And Jerome Iacone, what a legend. Just hanging, helping out with the tests. And we've got Dan warming up on court, brother Alex, Ken Brown mincing around, getting shit set up. Oops, sorry, language. And so we're all set for a big day. It's going to be a good day. Weather's amazing. And stay with us. Brett will be here shortly. We'll give you all the state league action from Alexander Park versus Peppe Grove, and sure to be an awesome day.
I tell you, work out how you're going to spend all that money you won over there. You'd be good for a loan, wouldn't you?
That's okay.
You got it all sorted.
Okay, yeah, ended up right.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Guys, we need to go. 2 minutes to wait.
I'll tell you what. Two the other one good.
Guys, we need to go.
No? No, we got.
No, you're up there. No, cool. Come on, guys.
No, it's the green one. That's got some balls on it. One of them's brand new. And then the grips are in the middle of the middle bag.
Good afternoon and welcome to WA State League, round number 10. Back for another second half of the season. Today's match, Peppermint Grove, top of the table. Peppermint Grove comes up against Alexander Park Tennis Club. A couple of stars playing for Peppermint Grove. And today's action will be Troy Hargrove, former Australian over 35 singles champion, who we're watching currently at the moment, coming up against Australian Cup winner and hometown hero from Alexander Park, Jerome Iaconi. Fascinating matchup between experience and youth. Looking forward to this match today. Looking forward to you staying tuned as we keep you across all things that's happening in WA tennis. My name is Brett Patton, part of the Scotty's Media and CourtTalk broadcast today. Two courts in play. The centre court's here at Alexander Park in the leafy Menora suburb, situated between Mount Lawley and Yokine, North Perth. If you're in the area, please come on down. Entry is free. The bar is open. Looking forward to having you around. If you've got some questions you'd like to ask us on today's broadcast, please get online and just put it in the comments and we'll look forward to answering any of your questions that you may have. A couple of the other stars that are playing across today, Eduard Bouchier from Tasmania. His number one player for Alexander Park, has played with his brother Harry Bouchier, who is currently number 300 in the world, both on the list for Alexander Park Tennis Club. Harry, unfortunately, is away playing the Australian Summer of Tennis, looking to just missed out on qualifying only a matter of weeks ago for the Australian Open, but will be playing in the qualifying in some of the lead-up tournaments heading into the Australian Open 2021. Great to see the Australian Open up and about. Confirmed, 8th of February kickoff. All the stars are in town, minus one Roger Federer. We have all the stars here playing State League across this Saturday afternoon throughout Perth. We'll keep you up to date with all that's happening with all the scores, men's and women's events. As we're seeing right now, watching just moments before starting the match, Troy Hargrove's closest to the camera from Peppermint Grove. Jerome Iaconi furthest from the camera, serving the last couple of practice serves as he's preparing himself against the old stager. And as I made mention, Troy Hargrove's coach of Peppermint Grove Tennis Club, been a stalwart of WA tennis for many years, former WA Open winner, Australian over 35s champion in the 35s and the 40 singles, represent Australia at the Oceania Championships on a number of occasions. As part of the Australian over 35s team, playing against the Oceania Davis Cup teams, Tahiti, Samoa, New Zealand, ending up winning a silver medal in the teams events. As we're watching both boys just get ready, preparing themselves to come on and play in what's sure to be a very tight tussle. Jerome Iaconi coming off a slight injury, shoulder injury, has been hampering him for the better part of the last 6 months. Planned to be at college at this stage of his career. Unfortunately, with COVID closing down everything last year, 2020, sees Jerome at home in Perth. The upside is he remains at Alexander Park, playing State League for Alexander Park. He's the captain of Alexander Park. He's got a point to prove here today as you see him jogging out, ready to serve against Troy Hargroves. Again, my name is Brett Patton. I'll be calling today's action on behalf of Scotty's Media. Thank you to Scotty Walsh, former senior editor of Today Tonight, putting this broadcast together, giving some live WA tennis coverage. Some of the best players, just in WA, but in the over 35s Australian world landscape, and also some of the best players playing professional tennis. watching Troy Hargrove stretch, getting ready. The opening stage of this first game. Jerome Iconi serving, furthest from the camera from Alexander Park Tennis Club. Watching Troy Hargrove stretch, getting ready. Opening stage of this first game. Jerome Iconi serving, furthest from the camera from Alexander Park Tennis Club. Running through today's scorecard, Peppermint Grove up against Alexander Park Tennis Club. Number 1 player for Alexander Park, Eduard Bouchier. Ashwood Sharma is number 2. Jerome O'Connor, as we're watching on court at the moment, is coming in at the number 4 position, dropped himself down, is the captain. And in the number 3 position, looking forward to Dan Downey. In the number 1 position for Peppermint Grove Tennis Club, Tim Gray. Tim's won the last 2 UTR events played at Alexander Park and at Nedlands in the last 3 weeks. In great form, comes into this ripping form, come up against Eduard Bouchier. Looking forward to calling that match later in today's play. Tommy Harm is the number 2 player, playing Ashwin Sharma on the top court. Number 3, Domi Bouchard, the left-handed dynamo, went to college for a number of years. Really good player, talented player. Looking forward to him coming up against Dan Downey. And, of course, we're watching Troy Hargrove, the old stager, against Jerome Iconi in the number 4 position. My name is Brett Patton, of course, calling this on behalf of Scotty's Media. Thank you to Scotty Walsh, former senior editor of Today Tonight, putting this production together. Happy to be calling WA's best players playing in one of the best domestic tennis competitions throughout Australia. Round number 10, first match back after the break. Troy Hargrove serving to Jerome Iconi. Nice kick serve high to the backhand of Jerome. As you can see him just shaking his head. It's going to be interesting to see how Jerome gets through this match. Both play similar style of game from the back of the court, although a bit more variety from Troy Hargrove. Can serve and volley, can move forward and be aggressive. Jerome will tend to stay at the back of the court on the baseline, reluctantly moving forward. If you're a betting man, you would suggest on pedigree right now, probably favourite heading into this match, Troy Hargrove, just over young Jerome Iconi. Sliding wide serve, beautiful. Troy Hargrove's holding with ease. 1 game all. As we slip across to the top court, Astra Sharma coming up against Tom Hahn. Tom serving furthest from the camera. Ashwin Sharma closest to the camera, brother of Astra Sharma. Currently in the top 10 WTA rankings. Finds herself playing the Australian Open this year, singles, doubles and mixed. Of course, Astra is a former finalist at the Australian Open mixed doubles only a few seasons ago. Paired up with young Australian boy John Paul Smith. acquitted themselves very well, getting through to that final of the Australian Open mixed doubles. We see Mr. Sharma pushing his forehand long against Tommy Hahn. We might go back to court number 2, keep our eye on this heavyweight match between Jerome O'Coney and Troy Hargrove. Jerome serving closest to the camera. Hard to miss, wearing the white cap. Got the name plastered across the back of his shirt. Catching the top of the tape and dropping back on Jerome's side. Had Troy really moving from corner to corner. This may well be the 30th season that Troy Hargroves has been playing State League. May even be a little bit longer. One of the most durable players playing the game. Closing in on the ripe old age of 45, I think. Jerome O'Coney, 19 years of age. Big gap between the two players. Overplaying. A little bit of frustration. Dropping serve to love, Jerome O'Coney. 2-1 to Troy Hargroves. Of course, the Australian Summer of Tennis has kicked off in outstanding fashion in Adelaide over the last couple of days. Seen the stars of the game, Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka, Rafael Nadal, Dominic Thiem, all come out playing the exhibition at Memorial Drive, entertaining the 4,000 strong crowd that were there to see live tennis for the first time in over 12 months. Tom Hahn serving furthest from the camera. Called it wide, slid that second serve down the tees, having a bit of a look, just questioning in his own mind whether that was in or out. Accepted the call. Of course, in WA State League, no umpires, have a roving umpire. Adjudicates across both courts. No linesmen, no ball kids, no court umpire calling the scores and all the lines. There's an honour system out here. Tom Hahn serving. Oh, a little bit of frustration creeping into Tommy Hahn's game. Good scramble by Mr. Sharma. Just putting the ball short, making Tommy Hahn having to move forward, just overplaying the low forehand chip. As we move back across to court number 2 here at Alexander Park Tennis Club, Troy Hargroves. Number 4 player for Peppermint Grove up against the number 4 player for Alexander Park, Jerome O'Coney. Troy serving. Nice point. And acknowledged by Troy Hargroves. I think Troy's in as good a shape as I've ever seen. Looks like he's been doing a lot of work in the gym, some track work. I believe he's spending a lot of time taekwondoing. A lethal weapon out here on court is Troy Hargroves, just serving wide. Overplaying the backhand long. Very laconic style, Troy Hargroves. Gets around the court, same pace, same speed. Big game from the back of the court. Renowned for having one of the best one-handed backhands, not just in WA, but globally. High praise is for Troy's one-handed backhand. Textbook. If you want to watch Troy play, get your kids to emulate a one-handed backhand. That's the player you want to try to emulate. That was a let second serve. Beautifully played off forehand, Jerome. You'll see a lot of backcourt rallies between these two players. Reluctant, both of them, to move forward, although it is in Troy Hargrove's repertoire. Will serve and volley on occasion. Take the short ball, move forward. Some of the areas that Jerome is working on is that forward court game. hits the ball incredibly well off both wings from the back of the court, but is reluctant to move forward. An area of his game that certainly needs a little bit more work if he's to make his mark at college tennis and then post-college on the world stage. Troy Hargrove serving at 15:30, leading 2-1, early break. Simple backhand error, mid-court ball error, Jerome O'Coney. We're going to keep you up to date with all the scores that are happening around the Men's and Women's State League. Round number 10. The match is being played in the Women's State League today. Peppermint Grove at home against Hensman Park. In the singles, Talia Gibson from Peppermint Grove up against Anya Dokic. In the match number 2, Talia Preston up against Lily Fairclough. Match number 3 sees Natasha Karma-Pesky up against Ela Nurkic. And match number 4, Caitlin Hindmarsh against Hayley Burton. And the second match tie for the Women's State League today. Royal Kings Park at home against Cottesloe. Beautiful rally. Again, moving forward. Beautiful backhand volley deep, just out of the reach of Jerome O'Coney. So the second tie in today's Women's State League, Royal Kings Park at home against Cottesloe. Chanel O'Coney, the sister of Jerome, who we're watching here against Troy Hargroves. Up against Zhang from Cottesloe. Tiwa Casey up against Helena Yakinovic. And the scorecard hasn't been completed. We'll give you the updates as the day unfolds in the Women's State League. In the Men's State League, of course, we're watching Alexander Park at home against Peppermint Grove. Cottesloe up against UWA. Willie Hahn playing against Luca Katsamarkis in the number 1 position. Timmy Wood is coming up against Jasper Patterson, and their scorecard hasn't been filled out, so we'll keep you up to date with their scores as the day plays out. And the last tie for the men's competition, Hensman Park up against Royal Kings Park, being played at Hensman Park on the hard there in South Perth. And again, we'll keep you up to date with the scores. Double fault. Troy Hargroves puts himself into a position behind the scorecard, finds himself down a break point. Opportunity for Jerome to break back. Beautiful serve and volley. As we spoke about at the top of the tie, Troy does have the arsenal to serve and volley. Will move forward. Does like to play from the back of the court. Will sound out his player, feel his player out. If he sees an opportunity to move forward, he certainly will. Isn't afraid. Has great volleys, good hands around the net. Great experience at state league level. Leading 2-1 with an early break. Serving a deuce. Overplaying that forehand deep from Jerome. A little bit of frustration creeping in. Alex Downey has slid out of the top 4 singles for Alexander Park, playing in the doubles. Pushing that wide. Lengthy hold to serve for Troy Hargroves. On the board, leading 3-1. Consolidating that break. Both players just sounding each other out. Certainly a heavyweight title fight between Hargroves and O'Coney. Hometown hero Jerome O'Coney come on in leaps and bounds. Won the Australian Cup as a 16-year-old. That's the equivalent of the Schoolboys Australian Championships, the Pizzy Cup. Accepted into college. Was heading off last year. And as we know, COVID took the world by storm. Hence, he's been staying in Perth and training. Doing a lot of training down at UWI on the clay with Matthew Ebden, who finds himself in Melbourne training, getting ready for his opportunity to play at the Australian Open, some of the lead-up tournaments heading into the Australian Open. Of course, Matty went away to Doha, failed to qualify, losing first round the Australian Open qualifying to another Australian, Jason Kubler. A match probably be a little bit disappointed in losing. Just the unforced error count creeping up after the first 4 games as we see an umbrella just taken toppled, left a screen. A little bit of breeze around, swirly breeze. Right to left of the camera. Big serve, Jerome. The 1-2 punch, just testing that shoulder. Has had some bursitis over the last 6 months, getting treatment for that. Probably one of the biggest serves we've seen Jerome hit over the last couple of ties he's played across the end of 2020, start of 2021. Just missing the single sideline, flattening out that back and going for the winner, just overplaying it, not by much. You saw Jerome's finger come out nice and quickly as he made mention that players called their own lines. No umpires, no linesmen. Sometimes you'll get a disagreement. By and large, all players agree the call is made by the person at the other end of the court. Can you imagine players calling their own lines as professionals? John McEnroe back in his day, Jimmy Connors, a couple of fiery individuals. They were challenging linesmen every few games. Did that more so for sportsmanship, to unsettle their opponent if they find themselves in a difficult position. Calling that long. Good hold of serve, Jerome O'Coney, as we skip across to the top court. Both ties at the change of ends. Troy Hargrove's leading 3 games to 2, still with a break. His first set. Ashwin Sharma up against Tommy Hahn. On serve. As we skip across through the grounds, give you some updates, some scores across the other ties that have been playing at the moment. WA State League round at number 10. As I made mention, 2 matches being played in the Women's State League. Peppermint Grove up against Hensman Park. The only match with a live update score, Lily Fairclough from Hensman Park leading Talia Preston 1 game to love, and Caitlin Highmarsh leading Hayley Burton by 1 game to love. Just the opening moments of that tie against Peppermint Grove and Hensman Park. The other women's tie, Royal Kings Park up against Cottesloe. Chanel O'Coney from Kings Park leading Zeng 3 games to 1 with an early break, and Tiwa Casey and Helena Jankovic 2 games all in the second matchup between Royal Kings Park and Cottesloe. We go to the men's competition, round 10. As I made mention, Cottesloe up against UWA. Cottesloe's number 1 player, William Hahn, up against Luca Katsamanis, leading at 4 games to 1. Got off to a very speedy and quick start, William Hahn. His brother, Tom Hahn, playing out here today for Peppermint Grove, and Jasper Patterson leading the evergreen, Mr. Amberjacks himself, Tim Woods, 4 games to 2. And Hensman Park and Kings Park get to put any details up on the score buzzer. If you want to get on, check some of the live scores, Score Buzzer app. You can download that. Punch in the search engine State League, and it'll come up with the men's and women's ties for today. Gives you live updates, or as live as they can possibly be. My name is Brett Patton, part of the Scotty's Media broadcast team. Been enjoying bringing you the men's and state league live coverage across the summer of 2020-2021. Some of the best tennis competition you'll find anywhere in Australia. skip back across. Troy Hargrove serving far end for Peppermint Grove, leading 3-2 against Jerome O'Coney from Alexander Park, closest to the camera. Just toweling off. Say good afternoon to Mitchell Playdell, part of the High Performance Tennis Australia team, working for Tennis Northern Territory up there in Darwin. Tuning in, wanting to know who's playing for Peppermint Grove. Of course, Mitchell, captain of the Cottesloe Men's State League side about 5 years ago, winning the WA State League in convincing fashion against Wembley Downs, which effectively is the Royal Kings Park Tennis Club Men's State League side right now. They all migrated from Wembley across to Kings Park. Played alongside his brother Joel Playdell, Scotty Jones, Andrew Roberts. Andrew moved to Queensland to be part of the High Performance Academy run by Tennis Australia, formerly the High Performance WA coach. It's a very strong team. Beautifully played. Return of serve. Jerome, as he gave a little bit of a fist pump. Forehand passing the outstretched arm of Troy Hargrove as he just slid into that high backhand volley. Hit the top of his racket, but got past him. Jerome up and about at the back of the court. Like a cat in a hot tin roof, just moving around. Beautiful court coverage, starting to hit his groove now. A little bit slow to start. As you can see, Jerome walking back with a little bit of a strut in his step. Going to the towel. Again. Toweling down. Break a serve by the looks of things. Back on serve it was. Beautifully played return of service game. Closest to the camera, Jerome O'Coney. All matches are played with 3 balls. Every club can nominate which ball they want to use. Of course, Alexander Park using this Soderling ball, made famous by Robin Soderling, former top 10 player, famously defeated Rafa Nadal, the French Open. I think it was Rafa's very first defeat at Roland Garros. Of course, Robin went on and lost the final to Roger Federer in 2009 to give Roger his very first and only French Open Grand Slam title amongst the 20 that he holds. Thought that forehand was a little wide, although it hasn't been called by Troy, the Hackman Hargroves. Very fair player, Troy. Soderling balls are being also used by Royal Kings Park, my understanding. A lot of other clubs are staying more traditional, using the Wilson ball, which used to be a partner of Tennis Australia, the Australian Open. Slasniger, of course, is always used at the All England Club during the Wimbledon fortnight. I think Babolat's used during the French Open. So 4 different balls for 4 different Grand Slams. Interesting that there's no one ball that all slams prefer to play with. Similar here at the clubs. Clubs get a choice of which ball they want to use, and the Soderlings are the choice for Alexander Park in today's tie. My name is Brett Patton, on behalf of the Scotty's Media production team, enjoying calling men's and women's state league competition. Seeing the best players in WA battle it out here Saturday afternoons at the respective clubs. We've got hard court teams, grass court teams, of course UWA playing on clay. Great to get a 3-way mix in the courts. As we're seeing the change of ends between Jerome holding serve comfortably and leading 4-3, getting that break back against Troy Hargroves, finding himself up for the first time today. Ashwin Sharma serving furthest end of the court, leading 3-0 against Tommy Hahn. really just starting to find his way back into some form. Ashwin Sharma coming off a break because of his wrist. His left hand has been causing him no end of concern for the best part of 12 months, really struggling with a wrist injury. Hence, it's been debilitating, particularly on his backhand wing. Hasn't been able to hit with two hands, usually just preferring a chip backhand. Can hit the serve and the forehand well, but it's that two-handed backhand, which he lives and breathes by, that is causing him all sorts of grief, and has struggled throughout probably the first 3 or 4 matches back into the State League. First time that Ashwin's played State League for Alexander Park. Been a wonderful addition to the team and to the club. Great to see him playing at full strength. Ashwin, of course, went away and played college tennis 3 seasons. After getting off to a flying start, up an early break, Troy dropped his last service game. Jerome held. Jerome leading 4 games to 3. And a bit of a sluggish start to this 8th game of the first set from Troy. Just chipping that backhand long and the first serve fault. High backhand, just not moving the feet. Jerome starting to find his range. So the tactical words from Ed Bouchier, who sat courtside for a couple of change of ends, just getting into the ear of Jerome O'Coney, talking a little tactic, starting to pay dividends. Finds himself up love 30, up 4 games to 3. Beautiful rally. Ball skidding through. Some pace on that double-handed backhand. Skidding through and catching the ball late. Troy Hargrove, his favoured wing, his backhand. One of the few players to actually get around, run around his forehand to hit a backhand, such as the potency of that one-handed from Troy Hargrove. But he finds himself down to love 40. Opportunity for another break from Jerome O'Coney. Beautiful backhand down the line, if you don't mind, what he's known for over many years. Heavy backhand, good shoulder turn, catching the ball out in front. Jerome, 3 games on the trot, finds himself up another break, serving for this first set against Troy Hargrove, number 4 player for Peppermint Grove, coach out at Peppermint Grove Tennis Club. Closest to the camera, Jerome furthest from the camera, number 4 player for Alexander Park, serving for this opening set, 5 games to 3. Beautiful ball striking by both players. Unfortunately, again, that backhand just leaving Hacker during a critical time of this 9th game. Just dropping his serve after getting off to a quick start, an early break. Finds himself down 5-3 against Jerome O'Coney, who's really surging, starting to hit his straps, playing with a little bit of confidence, a real bounce in his step. Troy just a little bit on his heels, just not having the same pop and vim that he did at the start of the match. 40 minutes into this first set, Jerome O'Coney serving 5-3, 3 set points to close out this first set against Troy Hargrove, 6 games to 3. Beautifully struck backhand, as you can see, much to the appreciation of this watching crowd. That's the backhand we've been talking about. Just leans on it heavy, early backswing. Preparation is fantastic. Just really pushes through the ball, gets the body weight. That's how he generates all the power. It's just the body weight smooth through the trajectory of the backhand. Let Jerome again. Another set point. Pushing that wide. Battle of the slice backhands and Hackett not happy, hitting that forehand away in disgust, dropping the first set, 6-3.
Let's go, Peppe Grove.
Dommy Bouchard just calling out to his teammates. First set, 4 games in a row to Jerome O'Connor. As we skip across. Crowd slowly building up here at Alexander Park Tennis Club. I'm seeing Jerome O'Connor go back towel off. Opening stages of this second set. Jerome fought through some adversity in that first set against Troy Hargrove, serving furthest from the camera from Peppermint Grove. Troy was up an early break. Jerome got on a real tear, came back winning that first set 6-3. Opening game of this second set. Jerome just a little bit disappointed with the way he's returning. Just looking at Ed Bouchard, number 1 player for Alexander Park, sitting courtside. Just motioning to him. A little bit frustrated with that forehand return of serve. Big serve down the tee, stretching Jerome, overplaying the forehand long. Finding a good groove though. It's the best form we've seen Jerome in probably the best part of 3 or 4 months, certainly throughout this state league season, he's had patches of great tennis. Consistency is something that Jerome's been working on in the off-season. Beautifully played backhand, deep down the line, just stretching Jerome to the point of overplaying a slice forehand. As you see him just adjusting himself closer to the camera, we can't see that. The change of ends, 1 game to love. Troy Hargrove's on the scoreboard nice and early. Opening stages of this second set. Switch across. Tom Hahn serving closer to the camera for Peppermint Grove. Clawing back that early break that he lost against Ashwin Sharma. Ashwin furthest from the camera, leading 4 games to 3. First set's been going for about 48 minutes. A long first set. Grass courts here at Alexander Park. Come on down. Crowd is slowly building up. Bar is open. Alexander Park situated between Mount Lawley and North Perth, leafy suburb of Manoora. Former home of the WA Open. Former home of WA Country Week for many, many years. Alexander Park Australian Tennis Club of the Year is voted at the John Newcombe Industry Awards only a matter of 3 seasons ago. Has won the WA Club of the Year on a number of occasions. We welcome all players, all people, all punters, kids, the likes, animals, all welcome down here at Alexander Park. First serve fault. Will Hart. Beautifully off forehand, catching the edge of the sideline. No call there. It's clear as day, right in front of the commentary booth here, just catching that edge of the line. Not a lot of chalk jumps up here. Lines are painted on. Do a good job by Johnny Gillette, the groundsman here at Alexander Park for many, many years. Some of the best grass courts you'll find anywhere. Crowd appreciating the court and the play between Jerome O'Connor and Troy Hargrove. Troy leading 1 game to love. Opening stage of that second set after dropping the first set 6 games to 3 to a rampaging Jerome O'Connor. Top court, Tommy Hahn serving from Peppermint Grove against Ashwin Sharma. Beautiful, big forehand, just opening up the court against Ashwin Sharma. Tommy Hahn pushing his opponent left to right, just giving himself some space down that backhand corner. Tommy Hahn playing some wonderful tennis throughout this WA Summer of State League. Of course, Peppermint Grove had an outstanding first half of the year, leading all comers alongside Dalkeith the second part of the season. A lot of unfinished business here this year. Of course, COVID shut down the season early last year, so there's no winner of WA State League for the first time in 104 years. All the players are very keen to get their club, their name recorded on the David Blacklock Shield. Beautiful low chip. Ashwin Sharma showing his mobility. Great court coverage. Wonderful athlete, Ashwin. Just like his sister. Terrific moves, both very similar in build. Play a very similar style of game. If you have a chance to see Astrid Sharma, his sister, she'll be playing at the Australian Open this year. Finds herself around about the 100 ranking in the world for women's tennis. Former runner-up Australian Open mixed doubles, only about 2 Australian Opens ago. Did ask a question of Ashwin whether he'd get the chance to play with his sister at the Australian Open in the mixed doubles. He said he's still working on it. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity. Some of the famous siblings that have actually played in Grand Slams together. Beautiful cross-court forehand. Tommy Hahn saw Tracy Austin win the US Open mix with her brother Ewan Goolagong and Ian Goolagong. Both played together at Wimbledon. Be another string to the bow of the Sharmans, if the Sharman siblings, if they could both play together at an Australian Open or a Grand Slam in the mixed doubles. Of course, mixed doubles is only played at Grand Slam level. You don't see any mixed tournaments across the WTA or the ATP. Very few opportunities to play mixed doubles. We, of course, saw that for 30-odd years at the Hopman Cup. And it's now, for now anyway, been parked by the ITF. I'm sure that the Hopman Cup will pop up somewhere else. There's some talks at the moment. Some countries looking to take over the Hopman Cup rights. Be wonderful to see the Hopman Cup up and running, albeit a little strange that it's not being played here in Perth. Long service game. Tom Hahn. Peppermint Grove closest to the camera. Trailing 4-3. Big serve down the tee, catching the tee. A little bit of chalk on that occasion. Very hard to get chalk to jump up off these lines. They're painted down. Not the traditional fluffy chalk that you see. Very much a paint. And held serve, 4-all. After getting off to a slow start, Tommy Hahn digs his way back into position in this first set. Very important 9th game in the context of this match, in the context of this tie. Serving wide. Kicking second serve. Tommy Hahn didn't move the feet. Decided to just stay back and launch into a high backhand, just dropping it into the base of the net. Production is brought to you by Scotty's Media. My name is Brett Patton, part of the Scotty's Media and CourtTalk commentary team. Ashwin Sharma serving. Beautiful big serve down the tee. Yeah, lovely cross-court forward. Tommy Hahn, unplayable, catching the top edge of the racket. Ashwin Sharma. Four games all. This top court, Ashwin Sharma and Tom Hahn. A little dogfight out here. Beautiful serve into the forehand wing, Tommy Hahn. Nice little crowd building up here at Alexander Park to watch this round 10 match between Alexander Park and Peppermint Grove Tennis Club. Ashwin Sharma serving. Catching the tape. Overplaying that backhand, just catching a little bit of a floater from Tommy Hahn. Just didn't get the feet in a position. Ball held up a little bit, overplayed the backhand. Tightened up right into that left hip. Tommy Hahn came back with interest, just catching the top of the tape. And finds himself up a game point here. Tommy just asking Timmy Gray, his teammate, sitting courtside, if he thought that serve was good. Yeah, Timmy indicated the ball was good. Just getting some reassurance back to his player that he hasn't played an out ball. Oh, high backhand. Caught him again. 2 high backhands and 3 points. Have gone begging. Ashwin. Juice, 4 games all. The set coming up to the hour mark. 9 games in. Both players incredibly fit. A little bit warm out here today. A little bit of breeze coming from right to left of the screen as you're viewing. Again, a nice serve into the forehand wing, overplaying Tommy Hahn. Just as I say that, the wind starts picking up, a little bit of swirliness, probably a little bit of gentle relief out there for the players, actually. Ashwin. 4 games all. No overplaying. Tommy Hahn not doing much with that return of serve, just bunting it back deep. Ashwin overplaying the forehand, really trying to lean in and play the lower percentage, going for the outright winner. Probably better off just playing more consistent, getting into a rally, looking for the short ball. Another big serve out to the forehand wing and a beautiful serve and volley. Nice movement, just taking advantage of the nice swinging serve out wide. Tommy Hahn didn't do much with the return, floated it. Dipping ball though. Ashwin, good athlete. Just taking that high backhand volley close to the net, cutting down on any possibility of an error. Let. First serve. All courts play with 3 balls. Third set is a super tiebreaker, first to 10 points. Big serve. That's a serve. Beautifully played. Good hold of serve by Ashwin Sharman, leading 5 games to 4 as we kick across to court number 2 in this ongoing battle between Jerome Iconi and Troy Hargroves. High backhand volley put away. Troy Hargroves leading 2 games to 1 after dropping the opening set 6 games to 3. A dogfight out here on court number 2. Both players starting to find their groove. Jerome coming back some adversity in the opening parts of that first set, found himself down an early break, dug in, eking out that first set 6 games to 3. Long. Troy talking to himself, muttering to himself down the far end of the court. Conversely, we see closer to the camera, Jerome, just off camera right now, going to the towel, skipping to return serve. He's talking to himself, trying to G himself up. You can see him up and about on his toes. Playing well back from the baseline, trying to get a good look at Troy's first and second serve. All that. Troy puts a little bit more kick on his second serve, not so much flatness. Another let, 2 lets in a row, second serve. Swinging serve. That's the play we spoke about throughout the match. Troy Hargroves has the ability to serve and volley, and then under incredible pressure, beautiful swinging serve out to the forehand and moving forward to take an easy backhand volley. Smart play, sensible play. That's the experience of Hargroves, knowing exactly what to do in what moment. First serve percentage starting to drop as this match goes on for Troy. Again, second serve pushing that long. 2 front on, didn't get enough leg drive. Again, Jerome heading back to the towel, just talking to himself. He gets ready to return serve. Standing about 2 metres behind the baseline. Troy Hargroves serving. Furthest from the camera. Oh, diving effort, Troy Hargroves. Hopefully Scotty Walsh got that on camera. Nice slap, high backhand volley for the winner. Certainly Troy Hargrove giving everything he has out here, diving for that ball. Finds himself down a break point, early stage of the second set, after dropping the first set 6 games to 3. The match is 61 minutes old. Troy just composing himself, needing a first serve, missing it, kicking it wide. Slowly moving back to second serve. Oh, if you don't mind. Great rally. Both men running out of puff right at the end there. Jerome just not been able to run down that last shot if it had made it over the net. Troy tried the drop shot, which he didn't need to be that good. Finds himself down to break in this second set. Jerome O'Connor leading him by a set 3-2 as we kick across to the top court. Tommy Hahn furthest from the camera serving against Ashwin Sharma. Again, he too tries the drop shot. Needs to be better than that, such as the speed. Good athlete. Ashwin movies around the court with Plum. Currently leading 5-4 in this opening set. It's been a long match, 62 minutes old, this first set between Tommy Hahn, Ashwin Sharma. Potentially a must-win match for Peppermint Grove with Jerome O'Connor leading by a set and a break against the old stager, stalwart journeyman Troy Hargrove. Vic and Carter, McIntosh, thank you for tuning in. It's great to have your company here, watching the best tennis, best players in the WA men's state. Right across this summer of WA Tennis 2020-2021, in the back end of the WA State League season. Round number 10, 14 rounds in the regular season and then finals. Very long layoff over midway through of January. First match back. 5 games all here. Ashwin Sharma and Tom Hahn going right down to the wire. Ashwin closest to the camera, serving. Yeah, beautiful return. Tommy Hahn forcing Astrid to hand deep. Wide. Crowd enjoy that backhand winner by Tommy Hahn. Got the short ball. Ashwin finding himself down above 30, 5 games all. 11th game of the first set after an hour and 4 minutes. Of course, best of 3 sets, men's and women's WA State League. Third set going to a super tiebreaker, first to 10 points. Again, overplaying, another error. Coming by the good pressure from Tommy Hahn, really forcing Ashwin to come up with something creative and different. Couldn't on this occasion. Played very solid tennis up until this part, Ashwin Sharma. Got an early break, lost it. Was putting pressure on Tommy Hahn's serve throughout the second half of this first set. Finds himself down 3 break points at 5 games all in this first set. First serve percentage dropping away. Ashwin. And again, overplaying. Doesn't like that. Hitting backhand away in disgust. He drops serve. Change of ends. Tommy Hahn leading 6-5, serving for the opening set against his match against Ashwin Sharma. Skip across to the second court. Troy Hargrove serving closer to the camera. Peppermint Grove trailing 3-2 after losing the first set 6-3 against the Whiz Kids from Alexander Park, Jerome O'Connor. Troy just testing out a spot there on the court, trying to flatten it out. Overplaying the forehand. Just didn't get into the right position. You see, coming back into camera, Troy Hargroves serving. About 26 years difference between these two combatants. Jerome O'Connor, 19 years of age. Troy Hargrove's 45. Potentially 46. Belies his age though. Still looks like a young man. In good shape. Does a lot of work in the gym. A lot of martial arts work. On the court coaching 6 out of 7 days throughout the week. At Peppermint Grove, if you want to get coached, you're in the area. Troy Hargrove's your man. Oh, just the wheels went under him on that occasion. Troy, not happy with that. Frustrated. It was a good rally. Slice backhands to the top spin two-hander of Jerome. Just the grass seemed to move from under him. Lost a little bit of traction and down he went. It's not the first time we've seen Troy slip today. Came at a crucial stage. Thanks to Scotty Walsh, just feeding me plenty of ginger beer up here in the commentary position at Alexander Park Tennis Club. Getting a little bit warm out here is the sun as it creeps across. Nice crowd starting to build here at Alexander Park. Bar is open as we see Troy unload on the backhand down the line, catching mid part of the net. Getting a little bit frustrated, Troy, at the stage. Certainly came with high hopes, starting the match in flying fashion. First serve really starting to drop off. Great rally. Oh, just ran out of steam. Jerome hit too many balls back. Troy really starting to suck it in, dropping yet another game, going down 5-2, the second set. Match is 9 minutes old. Move across to the top court between Tommy Hart serving for this opening set against Ashwin Sharma. Big serve, Tommy down the tee. Oh, overplayed, catching just the throat of the racket. Good pressure from the back of the court, Tommy Hart. Really starting to put some pressure on, closing out this first set after an hour and 10 minutes on court. A little bit warm out here, a little bit of breeze coming right to left of the screen as you see it. You can hear Tommy Boucher talking in the background from Peppermint Grove. Looking forward to him getting onto court at the completion of the Hargrove's Iconi match. Tom Hart serving down the tee. Overplaying for him cross court. Having a look, just asking the judge, the adjudicator at the back of the court. Of course, it was long. Tommy Hart inching closer to this first set in what has been a pretty impressive first upstart with Ashwin on two hands. He's been reluctant to hit two hands because of the wrist injury that he sustained last year. Starting to play to his potential now. Tommy Hart's just had his edge in his first part of the match. Big serve, and if you can't hear the relief coming from Tommy Hart, closing out that first set, 7-5. As we kick across to court number 2, Jerome serving for the match against Troy Hargrove. He overplays it forehand down the line. Just off camera, Jerome going to the towel again. Been a lot of talk about who'd play today. Jerome the captain, he's decided to put himself in. He dropped Alex Downey, who's been the form player of Alexander Park, only losing one singles match throughout the first 10 rounds. Controversial, some might say. Right now, Jerome's living up to giving himself the pick. Captain's choice. Hard to drop yourself. Don't know too many players that would do it. Greg Hutchie, side of the microphone, saying that I wouldn't drop myself. Fair to say he's right. Jerome wearing the wristbands high, a la Michael Jordan. The big diamond earring in. He is the look. Doesn't mind getting out on the dance floor and really strutting his stuff too. And I'm sure tonight, after this victory against one of the better players in the competition for the best part of 30 years, he'll be celebrating pretty hard. $40 love, 3 match points. We'll see what celebration Jerome gives us here. He doesn't mind doing a little bit of the shuffle. He has tightened up before. I think this one 3 match points, leading by a set 5 games to 2. Wide, 1 down, 40-15, still 2 match points left. As you can see, the glistening of that left earring. The hat pulled down, high wristband. Quite the fashionista is Jerome O'Coney. He likes to be referred to as Disco J.I. Oh, overplaying, and the celebration grunt from Jerome is overplaying that backhand cross court from Troy Hargrove. Terrific match, Jerome O'Coney winning round number 10 against old stager, great campaigner, Troy Hargrove. 6-3, 6-2 as a crowd show their appreciation. Nice round of applause, Jerome, as he comes back and grabs his towel. Alexander Park winning the very first tie. Singles number 4, Jerome O'Coney defeating Troy Hargrove 6 games to 3, 6 games to 2. A very entertaining hour and 14 minutes. As we skip across to the top court, just seeing Tommy Hahn come off for a toilet break, just filling up the water bottle. After taking the first set against Ashwin Sharma, 7 games to 5. You can see courtside at the moment, Eduard Bouchier just consoling Ashwin Sharma, trying to get into his head. No doubt talking some tactics about what he thinks he should be doing against Tommy Hahn, I should say, in the second set. We might skip across and just check out some of the results from around the other matches being played at the WA Men's and Women's League competition. As we made mention, 2 ties being played in the Women's State League currently. Seeing Peppermint Grove come up against Hensman Park. And the scores there right now, it's somewhat of a boil over in the match number 2. Lily Fairclough leading 7 games to 6 against Talia Preston. And Caitlin Hindmarsh getting the first set against Hayley Burton, 7 games to 5. The remaining matches to come on is Talia Gibson against Anya Dokic, which is sure to be an absolute fantastic match in the number 1 position. And Natasha Kamapesi up against Ella Nurkic. That's following the Caitlin Hindmarsh and Hayley Burton tie. Second tie for the day, Royal Kings Park. Chanel O'Coney, just like her brother, Jerome, who we saw out here moments ago, getting the win over Troy Hargrove, defeated Zeng 6 games to 3, 6 games to 2, giving Royal Kings Park a 1-love lead. And Helena Jakanovic winning the first set against Tiwa Casey 6-4, going down 4, certainly trailing 4 games to 1 in that second set. So it's close affair there between Kings Park and Cottesloe. If we look at what's happening in the men's matches, Cottesloe against UWA, William Hahn, the brother of Tommy Hahn, who we're witnessing out here against Ashwin Sharma, leading 6 games to 3. Timmy Wood winning the opening set, 7 games to 6 against Jasper Patterson, the evergreen Timmy Wood's career season. And Jasper leading 3 games to love in that second set. And the last tie, Hensman Park against Royal Kings Park. No matches being recorded. And we might have a chat to the winner of that last match. Wonderful tie against, might just bring you in a little bit closer. You might just want to take a seat. Jerome O'Coney. He's still puffing quite heavily here after his match against Troy Hargrove. Now, terrific match. Great to see you come back to some form. Got off to a pretty slow start. Dropping your opening bowl against Troy Hargrove, but again, no shame against Troy. Troy, as you know, has been an icon of this WA Tennis State League for the better part of 30 years. So how do you surmise your performance today, given that, you know, you've been battling a shoulder injury and probably a little bit of form?
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you feel you went today?
Yeah, well, first match in a while today. We're having a big discussion whether to put Alex or I in. I said, I know Alex has been playing well. He's been winning all his matches, but go.
The team was celebrating and remembering the day because of Kento?
Yeah, definitely. Grit, passion and friendship. So that's our motto today was for Kent. So we left it all out on the court the way he would have. So it's great for Tommy to come down today. It's easy for him to come down, but played for him today. So it was really good.
Absolutely. Well said, mate. Now, what are you predicting for the rest of the matches out here today? We just saw Ashwin dropping the first set against Tommy Hahn. Of course, Tommy's just really playing some great tennis throughout the 2020 solid. And 2021. And, of course, the match is yet to start. We're seeing Dan Downey coming up against Dommy Boucher, you know, the flashy left-hander from Peppermint Grove. I mean, how do you see these matches playing out?
Well, I think we're a really good chance today. Is starting off with a good performance at 4. So we've got the 1-up. Ashwin started really well. He's 4-1 up, but now it's a battle because you'd expect Tom to fight back. Ashwin's in with a real chance now, so he's held serve, 1 love up, and hopefully he can keep it going, get this set and take it to a breaker.
We might just sneak across and have a look at the match as we continue talking about your form. Certainly, you made mention that, you know, your form certainly in the back half of last year probably wasn't where you needed it to be. You're certainly not short of confidence, but you always put yourself in a position that you want to be out on court and you want to be playing. Yeah, so what do you put the form down to? I mean, you set the world on fire as a junior. We made mention on the broadcast. You won a number of UTR tournaments, AMT tournaments on the national stage. You're one of the best juniors coming through. You won the Australian Cup, part of the Pizzy Cup. Had a breakout last couple of years, and then you sort of hit a bit of a hurdle this year. Do you think COVID has slowed you down somewhat, and certainly the shoulder injury?
Well, yeah, for sure. I had an ankle injury mid-2019, and then obviously the bursitis at the end of 2019. So last year was a constant struggle. I got through, well, my first matches was back like in June, you know, so I got through that and played super well at the UTRs and everything. But then at the end of State League, the bursitis came back because I got sick for a month and then didn't do the shoulder exercises and it came back on. So, yeah, but I'm very proud of myself that I'm sticking with it. You know, it's not easy to always do the boring rehab, and you see everyone else playing well, injury free. But yeah, no doubt I'll get back, and I felt really good today, so I'm definitely on the comeback for sure.
Yeah, credit to you. You did play a tremendous match, getting off to that slow start as we spoke about, but really starting to find your rhythm, which is wonderful to see. Yeah. Now, just speaking about your sister Chanel, she had a win today. I mean, again, she had a win today in a straight set. So are you practicing a lot with Chanel? I mean, do you get out in the court and practice, or do you sort of not practice with each other? You just talk a lot of tennis at home, but you don't actually practice with each other?
We've been practicing here and there, you know, Chanel and I, especially leading up to the first round. Tomio's been helping Chanel and I out a lot with like agility and footwork to compensate for the shoulder, you know, do some other kind of stuff instead. So that's been really good, and yeah, very proud of her. She's doing very well. So.
Yeah, certainly is. Now let's talk a little bit about your college aspirations. I know you accepted into college, and we'll make mention of the college in just a moment, but you've gone there with, I know on the website, what's the name of the college you're heading to?
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina. So you get on Coastal Carolina. I think it's the Panthers, isn't it? Coastal Carolina Panthers. Chanticleers. I mean, your name's as the freshman there, and it's really, they're pumping you up. There's no doubt about that. But let's talk about this. A lot of your contemporaries have gone away to college. They've started now back on the back end of COVID. What's your schedule? What's your movements and, I guess, aspirations? Are you heading to college this year? You're staying out the Australian summer? What's actually happening in 2021?
Well, I'm hoping to get there in August. Didn't want to go in January like a few of the guys from the club, such as the Georgios, Connor Lord. Felt it's a bit messy over there at the moment, BP. So wait off a bit, hopefully get a vaccine, and it should be all good to go in August.
Well, you're certainly no stranger to getting vaccines and a lot of jabs, mate, for making yourself ready for the international travels. Now, let's talk a little bit about Let's just talk a little bit about Alexander Park whilst we have the opportunity here. I mean, Alexander Park, a wonderful club, as we've made mention on many of these broadcasts. You've been a member here for the better part of 10 years, and you've made 7 years, made a lot of good friends. And how did you become part of Alexander Park? What was the inspiration that got you down to this club?
Well, I initially was at North Perth before coming here because that was just my local tennis club. And obviously, I heard a lot of good things about the president here. Her name's Kerry Wagnall.
7 years running president, as we
Yeah,
just saw her on camera, the very glamorous Kerry Wagnall.
So she was the one who got me down here, and Scotty Walsh as well, good mate. So, everyone down here, love everyone down here. It's a great community, so.
Yeah, well done today. Looking forward to you potentially getting out on the doubles court. You may not be playing doubles. Alex might come in to play doubles.
The tactic was me play singles and Alex going for doubles, So I would only play doubles if it was with you, Brett. But
well, that'll be a long way off, I think. My comeback has been put on hold for the better part of 10 years, I think.
Troy's still going very strong. You get out there.
Eduard Bouchier just celebrating the #1 player. We're going to have a chat to Eddie soon. We'll bring him in all the way from Tasmania. It's great to have Ed back here, isn't it? What can you tell us? What can you tell
the fresh card as well? He's looking beautiful.
And a soon-to-be father. I mean, so he's playing for something more than himself nowadays, Shez.
Yeah, we're calling him Daddy Boucher. So.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
We might have a word to Eddie. Eddie will come in to see. Well done again, Jerome O'Connor. Eduardo, come and take a seat as we just a bit of a score update here in the top court. We're seeing
and seeing the ball well. So I mentioned to Asher, and that's maybe trying to mix it up a bit. Get him out of his rhythm, because when the ball's coming onto him, he's hitting it really well. But if you can try and move forward occasionally, serve and volley, put in a slice here and there, it just breaks up his rhythm a bit, and see what happens.
Great to have you back here in WA playing the WA State League. I know just before Christmas you came back and played one game against Kings Park. There's some talk that the airline lost your rackets. Was that a rumour or is that reality?
Yeah, that was right. I played that match without my rackets and just a shirt on my back. So it was interesting, but
not the ideal preparation. There's no doubt about that. Now tell me, and certainly for our viewers and our listeners, you're now the head coach down at Domains Tennis Centre in Hobart. How's that treating you?
Manager at the Domains.
Manager.
Yeah.
How's that club going?
It's been going really well. It's starting to change over the past year and a half, which is great to see. Just getting some new programs and new members, younger members, things like that. So it's really starting to brighten up.
For our listeners, the Domains, that's where they hold the big Hobart tournament, the Women's WTA International Tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, the Hobart International. Unfortunately, we couldn't have it this year with everything that's going on, but it gave us an opportunity to focus on the community as well, which was great, because that tournament, it takes up so much energy each year from everyone down in Hobart.
And it's well patronised, there's no doubt about that. Did you have a say in what's happening with that tournament this year, or was that made by Tennis Australia and really it was taken out of the club's hands?
Yeah, made by TA, and we didn't have any say. So
let's talk about your brother Harry Bouchier.
The ATP tournaments next week in Melbourne, and I don't think he's in those in the singles at least. It's a bit of an odd situation at the moment, because at 300 there's not a lot of opportunities for him, which is disappointing, because he just needs to get out there and play matches, and when he does, he'll start climbing again.
Now there's a lot of news going around about you being potentially the father of the year 2021. So some congratulations. It's you and your beautiful partner. It's bubbling away quite nicely. I mean, does that change your outlook on life, knowing that now you're going to have to be responsible for a new little human being?
It has slightly, but I don't think it's fully hit me yet, and I don't think it will until July. So no, it's really exciting, and Ellen and I are really happy and excited. So it definitely will change things.
Now, speaking of that, and tennis has been in your blood, in your family's blood for a long time, is tennis a sport that you would hope that your newborn, male or female, will come on and probably look to play professionally, or just want them to be part of a club and part of the community?
I definitely will love if they play tennis. I think it's been a massive part of not only my life but the family, and it's given us a lot of opportunities as well. So but whether they go play professional or just enjoy it, that's totally up to them.
Now let's talk a little bit about how long you're going to stay in Perth. Will Alexander Park retain your services? Yeah, there's a rule here that you need to be playing 4 home and away matches before you can play finals. Alexander Park right now are in the finals. If they keep winning, they'll find themselves in the finals. Will you be sticking around to play the home and away qualifying and potentially get the 4 matches?
Yes, that's the plan. Ellen and I are staying here for the week, so we'll be here for next weekend's match as well, here at Alexander Park, so that'll be awesome. And then I probably will play the following week again, so that will qualify me for finals, and hopefully we get a run.
Now, with your management work at Domains, are you still putting as many hours on the court training and hitting balls as you potentially were 12, 18 months ago?
No, nowhere near. I'm probably getting out there 3 or 4 times a week, which is still pretty good, and still enjoying it, hitting with some of the juniors in Hobart. But yeah, it's a balance.
It is, no doubt about that. And some of the juniors, good juniors coming out of Tasmania. I mean, when I was growing up, we had the likes of Richard Fromberg, there was Simon Yule, your old coach, Brett Richardson. There were some real stars that burst onto the scene. Yeah. And what are we going to see coming out of Tasmania over the next couple of years?
Well, there's some good players. Sam Edgar's coming out, and he's going off to college. Another one, Sam Whitehead, is also going to college. There's some younger girls as well coming through, which is great to see. And you know, the challenge for us, I guess, in Tassie is getting the amount of numbers through, because then you increase your opportunities with players coming through the programs.
Absolutely fantastic. Now, let's just cast our eye over the Australian Summer of Tennis. Australian Open coming up. I mean, it's been a rocky road to get to where we are. February the 8th is the go date for Tennis Australia at the Australian Open. Yeah. No Roger Federer this year. Serena Williams comes in there. You know, there's a real sort of a question mark over what she's going to do. She's chasing down the great Margaret Court. They played an exhibition, her and Naomi Osaka. I was very underwhelmed by that exhibition in Adelaide, and so I don't think they're really putting too much into it. I mean, what are some of the picks, or who are some of the picks that you would think are a standout, men's and women's, for this year's Australian Open?
It'd be great to see some of the Aussies come through, given that most of them haven't actually had to quarantine. So maybe there's a little bit of an advantage there that they've got, being able to train in a bit more relaxed environment, being out of quarantine. So yeah, I'd love to see Kyrgios and Kokkinakis, those sorts of guys. And there's some younger guys coming through as well, which is exciting, because they're really starting to push those.
Rafa Nadal and Novak Djokovic. What about the women's? Do you see Ash Barty as a potential threat? I mean, she's number 1 in the world. Yeah. She hasn't played a match really for 11 months. I mean, do you think that'll hinder her heading into the Australian summer?
It's hard to say. It just really depends on the player. Some players, they don't need to hit much and have got a lot of self-confidence and can go out there and just pick it up wherever. Other players kind of need to play themselves in, but I reckon Ash is a very talented player, so from what I see, it might be just getting a match under their belt, and from there you really gain a lot of confidence.
Before we leave you, I just want to make mention that you're brandishing Nick Kyrgios' actual racket. You're playing with one of Nick's rackets. So I picked it up and had a bit of a look, and I thought it was a girl's racket. It was that light, but you assured me it was 340 pounds, so quite heavy in tennis language. But, what are your expectations, and how did you get hold of that racket?
Harry's been using them for a number of years, and I got the hand-me-downs. So it's actually amazing how different a player's racket feels to a standard racket. They just feel a lot more solid, and they last a lot longer as well, just because they're made with better materials. So it's always nice to get your hands on one of those.
That's interesting you should say that. So you're suggesting that the pros rackets, they've been specifically made. They're not just coming out of the racket mill, so to speak. So they've been specifically made for the specs of the player, in this case, Nick. So that actual racket is sold over the counter. But you pick Nick's racket up and you pick the exact same racket up that's being sold at a sports store, 2 completely different rackets with weight and specs, is it?
Correct, yeah. It's just a completely different racket, and all it is the paint job that looks familiar.
There you go. So a little tip for all you punters out there. Not everyone's going to get hold of Nick Kyrgios' racket. Let's hope it does you some good out there today. Well done. Looking forward to your match, and we'll talk to you after the match. Good stuff. Thanks, Ed Bouchier, one of the greats of Tasmania. As we skip across to court number 1. As we're watching the change of ends happening here between Ashwin Sharma and Tommy Hahn. Tommy Hahn leading by a set and down 2-1 on serve in this second set. Welcome to today's broadcast, brought to you by Scotty's Media. My name is Brett Patton. Happy to be bringing you all today's coverage. The match between Peppermint Grove and Alexander Park. Give you a bit of an update of scores that are being played around the grounds today. The Women's State League, Peppermint Grove coming up against Hensman Park. Right now, Lily Fairclough leads Talia Preston 7 games to 6. Caitlin Hindmarsh from Peppermint Grove leading Hayley Burton 7 games to 5. And Royal Kings Park versus Cottesloe. Royal Kings Park finds themselves up 2 rubbers to love. Chanel Iconia, we just spoke to her big brother, Jerome, defeating Zeng 6 games to 2, 6 games to 2. And Tiwa Casey defeating Helena Yankovic after coming back from a set down, winning 4-6, 6-2, 10 points to 3 in the super tiebreaker. Sky Royales on right now against Lauren Nikolowski, and Nina Katovic yet to play against Lara Tovic. I'll keep you across those matches as they become available. And the men's State League tie for today. Outside this match, Cottesloe up 1 rubber to love against UWA. Willie Hahn defeating Luca Katsamana 6 games to 2, 6 games to 3. Timmy Woods finds himself at a set-all with Jasper Patterson winning the opening set 7 games to 6, 8 points to 6 in that tiebreaker, but losing the second set 6 games to love now to starting that super tiebreaker in the third set. And no scores being recorded between Hensman Park, and Royal Kings Park at this stage. Again, we'll keep you across all that's happening in the WA State League as we're watching the opening service game between Dan Downey from Royal Alexander Park, closest to the camera, coming up against the very talented Dommy Bouchard, left-hander from Peppermint Grove, far end of the court. Moments ago, we heard Eddie Bouchard talking to us a little bit about the tactics that he imparted on Ashwin Sharma. Seemed to be working. Ashwin losing the opening set 4 games to 1, I should say, in this second set. Both players on track to go to a super tiebreaker third set, if it goes that far. But Ashwin Sharma right now leading 4 games to 1.